Tacoma SR5, the best truck I've owned? Well, midsize anyway. Well, good afternoon everybody, and welcome back to Robmotive. So is the Toyota Tacoma SR5 two-wheel drive the best truck, mid-size truck I've ever owned? Short answer, I love it. I would say yes it is. Now, I have owned many other trucks in the past. I have owned the Ford Ranger, the Chevy S10, the Nissan Frontier. I've had about every one out there that you could possibly get in the mid-size market. Now, it's been a while since I've had some of them, so obviously there have been some improvements like the new Frontier, and of course we don't really have a Chevy S10 anymore. We have a Colorado, you know, and others, but still I've had experience with all of them, and they were dogs, I got to admit. They are the epitome of a truck. They felt like a truck, they drove like a truck, they had the power of a truck, and they sounded like a truck. They were horrible. Now, turning to the Toyota Tacoma, I've also had several Tacomas. I think this one here is number 6 or 7. I've lost track, I don't even know. But I've had the TRD Sport, that was the Barcelona Red that I had. I had the TRD Off-Road, that was most recently the Voodoo Blue that I had. Love the color of the truck. I've had 4x4s, I've had 4x2s, I had an SR5 double cab. It was a black truck. Love the look of it. Probably really was the worst one I've ever had, if I'm being honest. And then I had the old Pre-Runner. Do you guys remember the Pre-Runners? And I take that back. The SR5 double cab was not the worst truck I had. The worst one was the old Pre-Runner. And for only one reason. You know, that thing was not a 4x4. It had a locker in it. And I tried to use it in the winter time. I got stuck numerous times because all it wanted to do with the locker engaged was just sway back and forth. I was not happy. Got rid of that truck after that winter because it just didn't make any sense to me. I did better just in two-wheel drive. So why the SR5? You know, given all those other versions, it's a personal choice, obviously. I mean, we like what we like, right? I love the color on this truck, and I know it doesn't have the flash of the Voodoo Blue, but that's one of the reasons I like it. It doesn't pop out everywhere. I don't have to worry about it being parked somewhere and drawing a lot of attention. It's not that I leave my Tacoma parked anywhere for long anyway, but I don't want to draw a lot of attention to it because I have a lot of mods and things done to it. You know, I don't want anybody messing with it. I don't want anybody parking next to it because it caught their eye. They don't even have to like the truck, but just that it stands out, I don't want it to draw that kind of attention. So I do like the magnetic gray metallic, and in the sunlight, all waxed up and shiny, man, does it look awesome. I think it looks great. Now, from a modding standpoint, and this is where it gets really personal. You know, I realize that if you're in the market and you're buying a truck and you're not into doing mods and things, you just want a finished truck, well then obviously you're better off to go with a TRD Sport, a TRD Off-Road, a Limited, something that's already done. You don't want to buy the truck and rip everything off of it to put different mods on it. And that's the mistake that I've been making ever since I started the channel. I've been buying these, in essence, finished trucks and then ripping things off to put other things on. What a waste of money that was. You see, I finally learned. It took a while, but I finally got there. The SR5 has enough on it, things that I wouldn't necessarily want to do myself, but it's basic enough that I don't have to feel like I've wasted my money ripping all kinds of things off of it to make it the way that I wanted. I mean, I do run a YouTube modding channel, right? So that's my business, that's what I do, and that's why I really do prefer this truck, I think, a little bit more than the other already finished versions. And don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with them. Now, let's talk about the drivetrain, because this always comes up And I don't know, the people out there who are somewhat insecure within themselves, I guess, I don't know, they love to dog you when you tell them you're driving a 4x2. But let's think about that for a minute. You know, I live in South Texas. It doesn't snow here. We don't get winter weather. It's not icy. I don't need a 4x4. And I don't have to increase my manhood by buying a 4x4. I feel manly enough as it is, right? So the only reason I would have a 4x4, I suppose, would be to satisfy the naysayers out there who are gonna give me grief because I don't. And frankly, I don't care. That's kindergarten stuff, you know? I'm well beyond that. Unfortunately, I'd go back, but we can't. So a 4x2 gives me exactly what I need. I don't have to worry about the maintenance with a 4x4. I don't have to remember to shift it into 4-wheel drive every once in a while just to keep everything lubricated. I don't have to replace parts that I'm never going to use. I don't have that extra weight. It's just not necessary for me. So from that standpoint, a 4x2 is certainly all that I need. There's not a lot of off-roading opportunity here, and what little there is, and for what I would do with it, I wouldn't have a problem taking this truck out on the beach somewhere or whatever. I'm not gonna get into deep wet sand and get stuck. I'm gonna stay a little bit away from that, kind of in the just moist sand, if you will. The options that are on it, perfect for what I wanted. It's what I would call more minimalistic, but let's face it, the Toyota Tacoma is a minimalistic truck anyway, really. I mean, it's not loaded down with all the latest and greatest, and that's probably because of where it is in its generation. It's at the end. Obviously, we have the new Tacoma coming, probably in 2023, 4, 5, somewhere in there. It varies depending on which talking heads you listen to. I think it's going to be somewhere in the 2024 area. We shall see. Now, one question that I know I'm going to get asked is, am I going to buy that truck? Well, obviously I'm going to buy that truck, and probably no matter what. It will be the more basic trim level. I'm not looking, again, for a TRD off-road, a TRD Sport, a Limited, a Pro. I don't need any of that for my purposes. But you can bet it's going to be an awesome truck. It is, after all, the cash cow for Toyota, so I think it's going to be awesome. So anyway, I do think the Toyota Tacoma SR5 is the best trim level that you can buy, dependent upon what you're going to do with it. You can get it in a 4x4, by the way. But if you're into mods, adding stuff, customizing it, making it your own, I don't know why you would spend the money on an upper trim level that's already done. Doesn't make sense to me. Anyway, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. Do you have the higher trim level and you've torn everything off of it to customize it and make it your own, and then think, gee, I should have gotten an SR5? I'd be curious to know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. Robmotive FST, all about my 2021 Toyota Tundra, and Robmotive JT, all about my 2020 Jeep Gladiator. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Don't forget to click that notification bell so that you don't miss out on any upcoming videos. And do me a favor, smash that subscribe button on the way out. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.